I was a theater kid, to nobody's shock and surprise. And we were finishing up doing our spring musical. And the last day of our closing, my great-grandmother actually showed up to me. Note, my grandmother had been deceased for about 10 years now at that point. So I went through all the investigative thing, like, okay, well, maybe it was the light. So after everyone left and as we closed everything down, I went back out on the stage and was like, okay, well, maybe it was here. Maybe it was because of this. And I tried everything to try and like debunk that it could have been her. And as I was standing on that stage, kind of processing everything, she had told me, she was like, I'm proud of you. You're doing great. It's going to be hard though, but you're going to get through this.
Welcome to Hexotica, the sanctuary for creative rebels, witches, and unconventional entrepreneurs ready to turn their creativity into a self-reliant AF alternative lifestyle. I'm your host, Christine Rice, and this is episode 30. Welcome back to Hexotica, everyone. I have a very, very special gifted guest on today's podcast. We're going to be talking about protection spells and how to hold your energetic boundaries so that you can become a more powerful manifester, a more powerful businesswoman, or a more powerful creator who is making the impact on this world that you want to make. And as of the recording of this intro, we are now starting the Chinese Lunar Year of the Fire Horse, which is the year of movement, momentum, and decisive action. So I thought, what better topic to bring in this new year than to talk about how to protect our energy. And my guest today will go in detail with how you can do that. And she starts the interview off with an incredible story about her spiritual awakening that started in high school. So I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, remember to leave a hex yeah in the comment of my social media or on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, and let me know if you enjoyed this episode and if you'd like to hear more like this in the future. So without further ado, let's begin the interview. Today in Hexotica's world, please welcome our guest, Madame Creatrix, your witch's face emotional support witch, ceremonial artisan, and spiritual coach. Her business weaves together handcrafted ritual tools, intuitive services, and community-centered magic. Under Madame Creatrix Ceremonial Sundries, she creates small batch incense blends, spell kits, grimoire zines, devotional tools, and other ritual goods designed to support witches, mystics, and magical practitioners in deepening their practice with intention and integrity. Everything she sells, creates, or facilitates is rooted in connection, community, and conscious magic. Her goal isn't to just hand people tools, it's to hand people the keys back to themselves. And you can find her beautiful website at madamecreatrix.com. Welcome, Madame Creatrix. How are you today?
I'm good. That's the first time I've heard someone read it back to me that wasn't inside my head, and it's very wordy. Like,
it's a great intro. No, it really covers what you do very well. It's very intriguing that you call yourself an emotional support witch. So tell us about that. What is an emotional support witch?
Well, basically, the way that I describe it to people is you come to me. Yes, I use divination tools. I tap in intuitively and I use all the woo-woo stuff. But honestly, it's just a chat. Like I sit with you. Sometimes there's coffee, sometimes there's tea, but we're basically just talking about you. We're talking about what you got going on. Where do you want to be in the future? How can we get you there? Like, how can you take actionable steps to get to where you're at? I like calling myself an emotional support witch because it sounds a little less daunting than like your basic reader, like your tarot reader or something like that. It kind of puts it in the title of what I do. So yeah. I've had a client recently tell me, oh, it's like having a cosmic chat with the universe through somebody when they sit with you. And I'm like, I never thought of it that way.
That is an amazing description, a cosmic chat with the universe. That sounds great. I like the idea of calling yourself an emotional support witch because it is different. And you're not just calling yourself a psychic, I see. But I saw from your website, you were talking about an incident in high school where you said you went through the dark night of the soul and that you had a spiritual awakening. And so all of this woo-woo stuff, your ability to help people, it didn't just come out of the blue. You didn't just like pull it off of a shelf. You had a very intense spiritual experience where you said the world opened up for you and you became more in tune with spirits. I would love to know all about that. Tell us about, first of all, what is a dark night of a soul and what does that mean to you? And then what happened to you?
So a dark night of the soul, there's a lot of different interpretations and a lot of different ways of going about it. The best way I describe it to people is it's that moment where you're kind of in the void. You know, you don't really know where you're going. You're just kind of in this autopilot. You think you have your ideas set in place and how you want to proceed with whatever it is you're heading towards, right? But it just feels like you're doing the motions just to do it. Or sometimes it can be extreme depression. It can be all different things. It looks different for everybody. And when we call it Dark Night of the Soul, I wish it was just like a 24 hours and then everything's fine. Like, no, it takes place over, a period of time. So I was in high school. I was on this trajectory. I thought I knew exactly where my future was headed. I had the plans laid out. And then as it was getting close to graduation, about 3 months shy of graduation, I lost someone very close and dear to me by suicide.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. It was something that, like, when you experience something like that, you have relatives who pass of natural causes or old age. People die in car accidents. It's a moment of you lose somebody, you have to go through the loss and the grief and the mourning, and there's nothing you could have done to like prevent it, right? When someone chooses it, that's a whole other ball game of like having to process and understand all of that. And I was 18 at the time, not even 18 at the time. So add all of that on top of all the hormones, on top of all the stress of being like, oh my gosh, like this is something completely different. So through the processing of everything, it was actually a couple of days right before that happened. I was a theater kid, to nobody's shock and surprise. And we were finishing up doing our spring musical. And the last day of our closing, my great-grandmother actually showed up to me. And it was weird because I was just like, well, maybe it's a trick of the light. Maybe it's, maybe I'm just crazy and I'm under so much stress because it's closing, right? No, my grandmother had been deceased for about 10 years now at that point. So it's a little shock, right? So I went through all the investigative thing, like, okay, well, maybe it was the light. So after everyone left and as we closed everything down, I went back out on the stage and was like, okay, well, maybe it was here. Maybe it was because of this. And I tried everything to try and like debunk that it could have been her. And as I was standing on that stage, kind of processing everything, she had told me, she was like, I'm proud of you. You're doing great. It's going to be hard though, but you're going to get through this. What you're talking about? Like, I thought I was breaking. Like, I thought I had a mental break. Like, I thought that was it. Like, this is what they talk about. The men in white coats are going to come and grab me. Right. And I just remember feeling overwhelmed. Like all this emotion started bubbling up inside of me. And I felt this need, like I was going to cry. Like I just needed to sit down and sob. And I had no idea why. So I kind of kept it to myself. I didn't tell anybody about it. Went home, continued the rest of the week. That Thursday was when it happened, was when I got the news that my friend had died. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together at the time. And it took a little bit for me to process everything. But I was like, okay, maybe the two are, related. But about a week and a half after they passed, I started getting dreams where they would show up to me. And at first I was like, okay, it's just grieving. like just grieving. This is normal grief stuff. Like you see them, it's this thing. So I'm going through the motions. I'm going through the process, right? But then when they would show up to me in my dreams, they would tell me things, tell me bits about themselves that I didn't know. I didn't know when they were alive. I found out some of the stuff afterwards. And it was like, I didn't know what to do. And it was at that point where I'm like, this isn't normal. Like, this isn't normal. And I was close enough I got through his passing. I ended up getting very close to his family. I got close to his siblings and his parents, and it was just they welcomed me in, and it was beautiful. And being able to help them to what I can, you know. And I had opened up to them and was like, hey, I know this is a bad timing. I know this is a weird thing, but I just want to ask you something. Like, did this happen? And I remember talking to his sister and her being like, well, yeah, that happened like years ago before he was even in high school. And I'm like, oh, that would have definitely been before I had met him. Okay. And more stories like that had come through. So at that point, I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do with this information. So there was one source I had at the time, and it was a friend whose mother was very, very like into witchy shit. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Really into witchy stuff.
You can cuss.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Yeah.
She was really into witchy shit. Right. So I remember confiding in the friend at the time and was like, hey, I've been experiencing some of this stuff. Do you know, would maybe your mom know about this stuff? And it was through them that the mom was like, what you're experiencing is clairvoyance. Like you're experiencing mediumship and things like this. So it's not crazy. It's not normal, but you know, it's a thing. So that was kind of like my first, oh crap, this isn't just normal. And as the years went on, actually, my friend who died was how I learned certain things. I learned how to shield myself. I learned how to ground myself. He would teach me how to regulate my energy and how to, when I feel something's off or I feel something not kind or something not positive coming around, like how to protect myself and how to block it out. And he honestly was my very first teacher in all of this. So that was like my very first awakening. Now I'm going to be 35. I've had 2 other crazy awakenings since then, but like that was the very big, like roundhouse kick the door open. Here we go. So
wow, that's incredible. You were 18 when that happened.
Yeah.
You were old enough to know that when you saw your grandmother, that first experience, to kind of question it, like you were already knowing, you were understanding that this was not normal. A different experience from like my previous guest, who was an angel guide. She had just been born with it from the very young age. She thought it was normal. So when you're 18 to have that experience, you knew, okay, this is not normal. What's happening?
Yeah, I had I have been always had an interest in like the weird, the strange, the unusual, like since my earliest memories, right? And there were certain things that I just thought were normal that I thought were quirks. Like I thought everybody dreamed about different past lives that they had, or I thought everybody had these weird dreams where it felt like they were memories, but in a different body. Like I knew later down the road, I was just like, oh, wait, I was exhibiting a lot of this stuff way before I knew cognitively like what it was.
Okay. So yeah,
it had always been there. It's just, this was that moment that was like, okay, we thought maybe you'd catch out it a little bit quicker, but you didn't. So here we go. So
that is, wow, that's an incredible story. So because it was your grandmother who visited you, did you feel any fear, or was it just like awe and just feeling guidance? And
I think the fear was, I thought my psyche was breaking. I wasn't scared of the moment. Like in the moment, I was more curious than anything, you know, because the thing is, I've read stories. We all have our emotional support shows. You know, I grew up watching Charmed. Like I read witchy books where I could get it. You know, that was my bread and butter. They were where I went for everything. It didn't feel anything like I read. There weren't any flashing lights. There wasn't any like weird shimmeringness with it. You know, she was in the audience as if she was someone that paid a ticket to be there. Like, so it was like, this seems normal, but there's just something not, you know, but my body knew, wait, hold on. So there's a lot of things in there in these books. And again, I've been reading about this stuff. I had been learning because I'm like, I think this is fascinating. I think this is all great. But when I was experiencing it for myself, I was just like, no, this isn't it. Nah, like, that's not what they said in the story. That's not what they said in this book. So
yeah, your rational mind wanted to bypass your intuition and understanding. Yeah.
Exactly. So when it was happening, one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn and what I bring to my clients is it's going to look divinely however it needs to. And odds are you're already experiencing some of the stuff. But because it doesn't look a certain way or it wasn't packaged a certain way when it happened to us, we instantly are like, no, not me, not for me. Like, so it's, yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. That's incredible. So your friend who unfortunately passed, who decided to pass, he has been your guide. And is he still with you today? Does he still show up and say, hey?
He shows up when like something big is about to happen, like when there's a big shift that comes around. But for the most part, it's with people's guides, not everyone's guides stay with them throughout the duration. Like, yes, we have our set that we work with and they're there with us every lifetime, but some of them are a little bit more at the forefront. Some of them take a step back. And at that time, when he showed up, I think it was a combination of, well, I was open to it. I already had that kind of ability. I just didn't realize it was there. And also it was, I knew him. So because it was somebody that I knew, it allowed myself to kind of open up a little bit more, you know, versus it being somebody that I don't know showing up. Like I would have instantly been like, nope. We're closing that down. We're not doing this. But because it was first my great grandmother and then it was them, like it needed to be some sort of familiar thing for me to be able to be like, okay, I can trust this. But even still, like I questioned it, but because I knew them, I was able to trust. And all of it was with discernment too, you know, because the first thing you think about is all the taboos and all the fear-based blanket statements that come around when people say, oh, I'm seeing dead people, you know? So it's about that discernment and learning too, which was something I had to learn and grow and trial and error and experience along the way.
That's beautiful. And I love how you have evolved that now to helping other people get in touch with their intuition and to get in touch with their feelings in that way. Can you explain how it evolved into your mission today to help other people?
Absolutely. So I was always looking for a mentor or somebody out there that was able to help me, you know, someone that was able to see what I had and was able to help either hone it or help be able to establish a relationship with it. And I've bobbed and weaved through different mentors, a lot of toxic mentors, and learned what it was that I didn't want to be. I learned what I didn't want to provide people if I ever wanted to step into this role. Now, mind you, I had my spiritual awakening when I was 18. That didn't mean I was like, great, I'm going to be a professional witch. This is what I'm going to do. Like, I got my big fancy degree in illustration, graphic design, and social media marketing.
Is that why your website's so beautiful?
Probably, yeah.
For my listeners, you have to go and visit her website, Madame Creatrix. It's just gorgeous. The aesthetics, the everything. I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's I'm a childless cat lady, but my branding and my website and my business are my babies. So thank you.
Same here, dog lady.
But I had to, these were things that it opened the door, right? But I was very like, I can't, this isn't like, it's not like in Harry Potter where I can make this my whole career and just be like a witch and things like that. I always was like, that was for them and not for me, because I didn't think I was able to do it, or I didn't think that it was something that was a big adult was supposed to do, like, so I fought it tooth and nail. So I had my awakening, and the whole way I was just like, nope, I'm going to be an artist, or I'm going to be a writer. I even studied psychology and was like, I'm going to do this, and making shifts and changes along the way. Like, it wasn't until I think it was 2022. So I came out of the broom closet as Madame Creatrix in 2020. Like, that was the moment that I was like, I'm seeing that this is a very clear pattern through everything. The saying is, there's only two things in life guaranteed: death and taxes. No, the third thing is, wherever Lauren is working, it's going to be haunted as shit. Or there's going to be somebody who is haunted as shit and needs help. Like, every time.
You have spirits coming to you asking for help.
Yeah. And it wasn't like I would just go somewhere and there'd be something that was there. Like, and I was just like, what is this? Like, is it me? Like, do I have it stamped on my forehead? Like, what?
Portal.
Yeah. Like,
ask for help here.
Medium psychic. Like it. So
tell me.
I was like, I went the illustration. I went the marketing route, because that's an adult responsibility. That is an adult job. Like, it looks good on resumes. Talking to the dead doesn't look good on a resume. So I was like, okay, this works. So the whole way I went, but my stuff seeped. There was ways that it found its way. So when I was studying illustration alone, I was like, okay, well, it was creative writing and illustration together. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to write stories and I'm going to illustrate them. And I was just like, oh, I have this story and I have these very clear images of what the character is going to look like. And I have these, this full story of what happens to somebody, like really short stories, right? And I get the whole story, it'd be fleshed out. And it wasn't until I got a little more older and understood what I do, I'm like, oh, that's why. It's because it's not just a story. It's a past life that I lived. And that's why I know the character so well. Like, because the character is me.
What? Wow.
Like, and when I would draw people, so for like people who do art and stuff, anyone listening, I was always told, like, you learn still life, and then you progress to doing humans, because humans are hard because it's all the shading, and it's trying to bring that emotion and that identity to that portrait, that whoever you're drawing, right? Whoever your subject is. It was opposite for me. I suck at drawing inanimate objects. Nope, not for me. But I could draw people like you wouldn't believe. Through my studying, I did a self-portrait of myself. We had to. Not that I like drawing pictures of my face all the time, but like it was an assignment we had to do. And I finished, and the teacher was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is phenomenal. You should apply. You should put it in a show. You should have it be in the juried show." And I was just like, okay, whatever, So I applied, and I got a phone call from somebody, and they're like, "Hey, we've got your piece here, the photography piece that you did, but it doesn't have a name on it. What do you want to call it?" I'm like, photography? I didn't have a photography piece in there. I did an illustration piece. And they're like, "No, this is a photo." I'm like, "No, it's not. Like, or you're not looking at my bit. Like, mine is literally a big old picture of my face on it." And then they looked and they double checked. And they're like, "Yeah, this is a picture of a face." I'm like, it's my face. Like, if it says Lauren on it, it's me. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, we're sorry. We put it in the photography section." Like, and my grandmother still has it hanging up. Like, I can capture people and I can capture pictures and emotions. And it's not that like, it's the physical part of them, but it's how it seeps out through their aura and how this seeps out through the eyes and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, this is something. This is something. Like, I draw good, so I might as well go this route, you know? And that's what I do with my clients. I go, is it something that really sparks your joy, or are you doing it because you feel like you have to do it? You feel like, oh, well, I'm good at it, so I might as well pursue this. Like, so it's the backtracking, which I had to do with myself, and now I do it with everybody else. So I learned everything along the way. That's why my website looks great. That's why my branding looks hot as shit. But this is an
evolution of learning to trust yourself, because it does take a lot of time to trust yourself and to believe that those things that light us up, that we're passionate about, are worth pursuing. I'm a big believer that we have inspiration for a reason. It's our divine guidance. And Absolutely. If you feel inspired by something, that is a spiritual calling. So for me, I feel spiritually compelled to help other people find their, abilities as well, and to trust in themselves, and to find their self-reliance in the world, to have more freedom. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So there was a couple things that you said that I had some questions around. You mentioned feeling a shift when your friend comes in, feeling a shift. Are you feeling a shift right now? Because with everything that's going on in the world, and especially in the States, what does that mean spiritually, and how are you helping people with this shift that's happening? Regulating,
and grounding. And like I tell everybody, stay informed, but don't be completely plugged in. Stay informed, but don't be constantly doom scrolling. Like, the biggest thing that you can do right now is have your time where you look at the information, you look at your trusted source of media that you're going towards. And that's another thing that we have to do. What media sources can I look at, and how do I know that what I'm reading is reliable, it's neutral, it doesn't have a propaganda behind it. And honestly, it's the news sources that we're doing today, but also when people walk into doing their spiritual practices, it's a lot of that too. Like, the job never ends. Using your discernment never stops. It's just learning how to use it a little bit better and knowing when it's telling you and how to recognize and identify that. So,
absolutely. Yeah. What do you do every day? What's your personal ritual for protecting your energy? Like, can you share one of your protection spells or rituals that you do to help yourself? Because I in the interview I did with Sam Angel Guide, she said that she used the shower. she would do like in the shower, a kind of affirmation or protection around herself, because otherwise she was just bombarded by spirits all day long, and negative energy sometimes too.
So shower, I absolutely, yes. And it's all about the intention and the energy you put behind it. So I use it is a dragon's blood soap. And then sometimes I'll use frankincense and myrrh soap. So, but before I just go and apply it to my body, I activate the spiritual properties of that soap and the active ingredients that are in there. And I tell them what it is that I want them to do. So, for example, with the frankincense and myrrh, I'm telling them I want them to cleanse me. I want them to ground me, keep me in my body, but also protect me as things go, release anything that isn't mine, and moving forward. I also have travel Florida water that a small business near me, she creates herself, and she puts in like a little travel bottle. So I'll use that. I'll spritz it on my hands. I'll put it on the back of my neck, and my points, so like on my wrists. And I'll use that, especially if I'm going and doing readings at an event. Back-to-back readings, a lot is.
That's a lot of people, a lot of energy, isn't it? It's very draining.
So having the travel spray, it helps. But even so, you can buy like a small bottle of it, fairly reasonably priced.
Oils. What do you call that? Travel spray? What did you call that? It's Florida like a holy water almost. Florida water.
Yeah. Florida water.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Another, I'll use oils. Like I am a smelly witch in like the best way. Like I love things that smell good because it helps really like get me in the moment with it. So I will use an oil that has, again, frankincense and myrrh in it. And I actually keep that in my travel purse too. So it's a bottle that has frankincense and myrrh. So I'll apply it before I go out. But sometimes when you're out and you're just kind of feeling the ick, you know, it's good to have it on you because then you can apply it wherever you're at. And you don't have to like make a whole to-do about it. You just reach into your purse like you're putting on lotion and do your thing. Carrying like travel things. Like I have a travel Greek eye that I have everywhere. So I'm all about being able to like pick it up and go somewhere. So oils are easy to do. Having a to-go spray of, you can use Florida water. You don't have to use Florida water. You can use like an essential oil blend that works for you. Excuse me. So finding what works. Some people are very sensitive to smells. So using an oil or using Florida water, it can really trigger the senses and create that overwhelming. So crystals, having selenite is really good. Black tourmaline is a good one. Amethyst. And then too, you can keep it on your body. You can wear it in a jewelry. You can put it in your pocket, or if you're a female who wears bras, like you can stick it in your bra if you need to, because God forbid we had pockets that carried all of our nefarious things. So like you can be versatile with it. Another thing too is sigils. You take a sigil and one that's protective. You can apply it with lotion. You know, while you're putting your lotion on, you apply your sigil and then you rub it into your skin. Or I've created sigils for people for protection for different needs. And you can write it on your skin with marker or like a pen. And you can hide it. You can put it underneath your clothing. It doesn't have to be something that draws attention. Because in a lot of situations too, especially for those who are protesting and doing stuff like that, you don't want to draw that attention. So what they can have on their body that's hidden is going to be the best for them. We actually create sachets, little spell pouches. We have one that is an invisibility cloak for people.
That's useful. That would be very useful, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Veiling is another really good one too. Wearing literally like a head, like a headscarf, or I see for people with longer hair. I do not have long hair, but they will braid protections into their hair before they go out or before they do anything. You know, it's all about finding your natural rhythm and what works for you, and kind of where your magic takes you. So if you're still questioning what to do, you know, you can always hit up your emotional support witch and we can talk about that.
I love that. Thank you. That was such a lovely list of ideas and things that people can use. And so just to link when I write this down in the blog, like I want to be able to link to all these things. So I hope that do you sell some of these kind of sundries in your shop?
Yeah. So I sell the sachets in my shop. Florida water, if you can buy it from an indigenous small business, that would be more preferred. But I do know that it is something that is more accessible. You can buy it at any metaphysical shop. I'm in the States, so I believe they even started selling Florida water at Walmart too. So like some of the super centers will have it. I know for a fact that a bodega or a Hispanic store will have it stocked. But honestly, if you can go to me or go to your local small witchy businesses, support them, because they'll hook you up and they might even know something that's even better that can help you and very specific for what you're looking for. Because general protection is one thing, but if you're looking to be protected from something very specific, that's going to be what you're going to want to go with.
Fantastic. Thank you. That was just so helpful. I know people just need so much more protection right now to make sure that they're not spending too much energy worrying about what's outside of their control and letting that affect them and bring us down. You also said regulation. What kind of rituals do you have around regulation and that kind of emotional calming?
So what I do is I make sure that I'm hitting all of my points, my physical, my mental, my emotional, and my spiritual health. Right now, I focus a lot on the mental, the emotional, and the physical. The spiritual, once you kind of have your stuff in place, like that's one thing. I think we get so focused on, I want to be sure that I'm spiritually here, I'm spiritually this. But honestly, it's your body's your first line of defense to tell you what's going on. So especially if your body's kind of out of whack and doesn't know what it's going to do. So I first and foremost, I recommend people doing like a body scan when they wake up in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So just kind of sitting, getting kind of cozy, try and have your back straight, your spine in alignment, and just do some deep breathing. Do like a scan as if you were going to the doctor and they were taking a scan from the top of your head all the way down. Like, I mean, you focus on all around your head, the front, like your back, your shoulders, all the way down till you get your tippy toes. Okay. What are you feeling physically? Like, do you feel any pain somewhere? Do you feel any tension? Do you feel any like tingly sensations? I have really bad sciatica. So like I have to pay attention. Okay, well, where am I feeling these pain points in my body right now? Make note of that. Doing stretches, making sure that you're in your body. Even if it's just moving each part, you can move your your fingertips, stretching out, making sure that everything's there. Body tapping is really good too. Tapping each of those points because you're feeling it. It is a sensation.
EFT tapping, it's emotional freedom technique. If you don't know about that, for my audience, definitely look into that. That helped me get through one of the most traumatic periods of my life recently, when 8 houses on my house got decimated by a big storm. And I was homeless for 5 weeks. And yet a really lovely lady sent me a personalized EFT guide, and I used it every day, and it was incredible. It's incredible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these are tools. Like, these are tools that it's just, once you know how to do it, then it's just, I tell everybody, the hardest part is just remembering that I can do this.
Yes.
Like, when it comes to the breathing and bringing yourself into your body and grounding, the hardest part is just remembering to do it.
Exactly. Being proactive with your protection. Mm-hmm. So let's go a little bit dark here. What can happen to people if they don't protect themselves?
Oh, a lot. It can be different for everybody. The mental clarity is just kind of diminished. The amount of times that I'll sit down with somebody and trying to understand what's going on with their energy, I can't, because their thoughts are constantly racing. This is not to be mixed up with like having ADHD or something like that. But the constant racing thoughts, worrying about what's happening in the future, or thinking about what did I do in the past, or I could have said something differently, or, bringing yourself to present. Okay. Because you have no control over the past. You have no control over the future. So bringing yourself to present. Okay. A lot of the times the anxiety can be spiked. There's times where if I'll ask my clients, you're feeling anxious, you've got the racing thoughts. When's the last time that you did some breathing? When's the last time that you brought yourself to your present? When's the last time you've done this?
Have you had deep relaxation? Because our bodies crave that. They crave that deep relaxation. Being on our phones scrolling is not that's not relaxation. Those apps are designed to hijack our brains to keep us like in a state of kind of alertness. So we can't relax with an app. I'm really big about that. You've got to be able to put your phone away for hours at a time and deeply relax, really, really cut off, because otherwise those things can come in. Spiritually, I'm curious to know, because of all the darkness that's out at the moment, so much negativity, are there negative entities that can affect us? Like, they can almost infect us if we are not protecting ourselves. Because that's kind of something in the back of my mind that I worry about. Like, if I get too angry, if I get too much rage, if I'm reading too much of the Epstein files or something like that, like, is it going to start to spiritually, have a cheesecloth effect, allowing negative spirits, or, that's what I worry about sometimes.
Well, when you think about it, like attracts like. That's just law of attraction, right? Not the kitschy one, but that's just, science. But frequency, yes. I'm always very careful and cautious about when I talk about people having entities, being open to entities and things like this, because yes, it is something that it is possible. Okay. But a lot of the times, how possible and how often it actually happens is a lot smaller than us holding ourselves accountable to the things that we've got going on. So it's about accountability, self-awareness, and also just taking note of the things that we're doing. Now, I have had clients that have attachments, and a lot of the times people who have attachments, it's not because of anything that they did. It's not because of anything that, oh, well, you're a bad person, so you have an attachment. Like it's not like that. Sometimes these attachments are because they're karmic. Sometimes they're attached to us on a soul level, so we incarnate in this body. That attachment finds us because it found us lifetimes ago. It's the cases for attachments and entities and things. They're so vast and there's so much, but a lot of it too is it creates a lot of fear base around it. So the more you're like, oh, I'm scared I'm going to get an attachment. Oh, I'm scared that something's going to find me. Like
I need to stop worrying.
Then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, because you're like, oh, I always knew this was going to happen. Well, what are you doing? Like, what are you opening yourself up into?
Yeah.
So
I guess it's just that thing, like there's so much darkness out there. I'm not really sure sometimes like how much I should, I need to stay aware of the headlines, but then I'm like, oh my God, this is just like, stay informed, but remain unplugged. So after you do something like this, which I one of the top things that I recommend. So get in the habit of saying, I release what no longer serves me. I release what is not mine. I release what was never mine that I held on to for whatever reason. Maybe it was something I inherited. Maybe it was something I picked up along the way, or maybe it was something that somebody sent me. I release it and I send it back to its point of origin. Or if you don't want to send it back to its point of origin, you can send it down into, you want to call her Mother Nature, Gaia, what have you. Send it down into Mother Earth, where it can be neutralized. You can do it that way too. Beautiful. Get in the habit of the releasing. Then once you've released, call back all of your energy. Call back. I call back my energy, all that is mine. I call my energy back to me across time and space, past, present, future, anything that exists in the parallel, the multiverse. I call it back from anybody who's tried to take it. I call it back from anybody I maybe have given it to, known or unknown. I call it back to me right here and right now. And calling back your energy too. And not just all the versions of you that you used to be, all the versions of you that exist now, but also call your energy back from all the versions of you have yet to step into. Because that's what worrying does. Worrying is putting you at various points into the future. So little by little, it's kind of like breadcrumbs. So you want to call all that back. Okay. And you also want to say, I call all that energy back to me, divinely mind and whole, without anything foreign attached to it. You get into the habit of doing that more and more. The more you feel what isn't yours, and then you call your energy back and then sit with it. What does it feel like to be just you? Just you with all of your energy. Some people don't know what that's like. That's like, some people don't know what it's like to relax. So when I ask them, what do you do for you? What do you do to relax? What do you do for self-care? Well, I watch TV or I read a book. No, what do you do? What do you do to be with yourself? They don't know how to answer that. So it's about, okay, date yourself. Get to know you. Get to know what you want. Like, because some people don't know that, and that's okay. But that's just what we've grown up into. That's the society today. Go. Do. Don't relax. And spending time being idle is somehow almost like a sin, or like something you shouldn't do too often. We were told not to be too idle and it's that. But all the answers are when we are quiet. All the answers come in silence. They come in when we're spending time alone and when we go in within. Thank you for that. For my listeners, I will be giving the full transcript on my blog. That excerpt what she just said there. I'm going to pull that out as a little script so that people can download it. They can share it on Pinterest. It can go around, because I think that everybody needs to be doing that every day. I know I will be doing that. Thank you for sharing that. It's really good to hear something that is from somebody who is in touch with the spiritual world, with spirits, and who has, like, I wouldn't have known to call it back in, and how important that is, and understanding the importance of making these seeds now for the future, for our future selves. That's so important. Thank you for that.
It's a stillness. We've grown accustomed to fearing that stillness. So sitting and feeling what that is, it's necessary. We equate with stillness with death, with stasis, and we attribute those to being bad things, but they're not. Just like when you're doing a tarot reading and the death card pops out, you shit yourself. You're like, oh crap, here we go. Like, but that's not what it means, you know?
Yeah.
It's so in the same regard.
You've been so helpful. And this is just, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Now, to take it back to marketing, I would love to hear you as a business person, like, what was the first thing that you ever sold when you first started to pivot into who you are now? How do you help your clients? Who's your most ideal client?
Yeah. So the hardest thing too was trying to figure out, how do I sell something that isn't something you can hold in your hands, right? So the very first thing that I ever sold service-wise was my readings. And now I've done tarot in the past, but when I fully emerged from Madame Creatrix and I started being this version of me versus the past version, I actually don't use tarot cards or oracle cards. When I do my sessions, I tap into you. So it's trying to identify and also explain to people what it is that I do and why it's important and why it's necessary. And that verbiage and how to explain it has been different. It's changed the whole time. But it took a little bit for me to coin the term emotional support witch. Well, I'm your emotional support witch. And people go, oh, I kind of understand it. And it's basically what it is. And I was like, okay, so I can elaborate on this a little bit. And then it's like, okay, well, how do I want to present myself to people so people know exactly who I am and what they're getting? So I am, and what you see is what you get. Like, you see me online, and okay, my wedding photos and my engagement photos are like the most beautiful photos.
Gorgeous.
The way I look, like,
and I love your headdress too. The flower headdress, absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. I made it. So people are going to look at those and be like, oh, well, that's who I'm going to get in person. Oh, sometimes yes, but sometimes you get this. You know, you get fresh faced, you get quirky, you get raw and authentic. You know, I always told myself that what people saw on, like, in their screen, I wanted to be sure that I was replicating that in person and vice versa. So I made sure all of my branding colors reflected what my outfits look like, reflected all of, like, my aesthetic outside of Madame Creatrix and inside the realm of Lauren. So that was my first thing. And that's what I tell people, like, why are you trying to be something else? You know, you want it to be effortless, working smarter, not harder, right? Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, there's tweaking to it. But I settled on the branding and how I wanted it to go. I wanted it to be where you walk in and you instantly get that cozy feel. And I've always said, I wanted to, if I could live somewhere where it was autumn 24/7.
Oh, yes. That's what I miss about Georgia the most. Autumn was always my favorite. And even though I love living in Australia, we just don't have that many trees with that many colors. And it's just, or not the smell, you know, it's not the same. It's so gorgeous there.
Favorite. Even in summer, like, I'm like, is that color on the tree? And my husband will be like, no, there's a dead leaf.
What marketing channels work best for you, and you're doing this full time?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
And yeah. And so I'm assuming that your services working one-on-one with your clients for the emotional support make up the majority of your income?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Now I do have the supplemental is like the physical product that we sell. So we spell kits. We sell things that, if anyone's mentioned it, like, hey, I'm looking to do this, or I'm looking for a ritual or a mindfulness thing around this. I was like, I should probably make a product, Same thing with, I was looking for something and could not find it. So I'm like, I guess that means I have to create it. So that's where a lot of my products are. So
fantastic. Yeah.
But a majority of the stuff is my readings and my coaching and my Reiki that I do with people. My outlets, honestly, the best outlets that I have is TikTok and Instagram. And a majority of that is because I put myself out there. Like,
you're very good, very comfortable being on video, which is just so important I'm always trying to tell people, like, you don't need to show up looking like an influencer, like, just be you. People actually will relate more with you if you are just you. But being on video is almost like it's a non-negotiable these days.
Yeah. And it's still nerve wracking. Like, there are days where I'm like, I really need to put a video out there. I haven't in a while. And I'm like, well, here we go. And I just like set the camera up and I'm like, I'm just going to talk. And honestly, I've learned that I could sit and I can make the most beautiful video. Like, the direction's good. I've got the color editing. The sound lines up perfectly. But if it's not me, or it's not me doing something in the video, those videos will maybe get a couple hundred views, maybe break 1,000. And that's just like likes and views. That's not engagement, It's honestly the videos where I am like this. I just need to throw something out there and I look like ass and it doesn't matter. I'm going out there. Like, those are the ones that I'm like, everyone's like, yeah. And they've got input and they've got feedback. And those are the ones that really started driving things. So I was just like, okay. Now the other stuff is important still. Like, I still have the static photos and the carousel and that stuff, but the video content. And I tell my clients too, yes, I am selling services. Yes, I'm selling product, but the goal isn't so every time somebody looks at me, they go, oh, what is she selling? Oh, what is she going to try and pitch me? Like, yeah,
you're really good. Like, you're not overly selling on your social media. And I love that you are just putting stuff out there, even if you look like ass, because honestly, I think that's the best way to do it. I'm like, I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but I really do believe that when you are starting off and you're starting a business, you should go for quantity, not quality, because it's through quantity that you figure out what is quality, and you get used to being on camera, or you have more data to work with, all that.
Exactly. So you know what works and what doesn't. And you're not going to know what those numbers are if you don't have the content out there for that.
Exactly. So do you get your clients through TikTok and Instagram? Is that mostly your client channel?
Yeah, honestly.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So with more of my older generation, believe it or not, I do have clients that I get from Facebook. So I get
that's
stuff
the
from
Gen X here, Gen X on Facebook. That's why I still love Facebook. So I'm in all the groups, the witchy groups and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, so like I have my clients on Facebook, especially the longer form. So blog post-esque posts, the longer form where I'm typing. It's more so to get the longer messages out there, the longer things that I need to say out there. Those do really well on there. But again, it's not word vomit. It's not AI bullshit that just kind of fills a page with keywords. It's real live, like, things that are out there that I write. And my events and all that has to be posted on Facebook in order for the algorithm hippos and all that stuff. So like, I still utilize all the ones I can't get behind, and all the young youths out there are like, we're going to use Threads. We're going to use Blue Sky.
No, Threads is the witch coven right now. Like, Threads is where all the witches are. It's like my most spiritual space. I love Threads, and it's just, I can spend hours there. It's very, very progressive, left leaning, and very political, but I try not to, get too much of that stuff. I'm there for the witches. I'm there for the astrology, the tarot. It's just an absolute like little sanctuary over there.
The last thing that I actually mindfully put on Threads was, let's see how long this takes. Let's see how long my attention span can remember that I have this. And I think it's been about a year and a half. The rest of it is just stuff that like followed through from Instagram because the caption was short enough.
Right. So is your traffic strategy then, because there's different traffic strategies out there. Mine is search based, so SEO, and then there's paid ads, and then there's organic, which a lot of people use. Is yours mostly organic, or do you do any paid ads?
So I've done a couple of paid ads, mostly for like the actual events that I'm a part of and doing. But the rest of it is all organic.
All organic.
All of it is organic.
You're doing a great job. I thought your social media content was fantastic. Social media manager approved.
I'm starting with my business to focus more on community centered. So bringing together other small businesses, other small witchy businesses and entrepreneurs, and bringing them together. So I'm co-hosting an in-person co-working, a coffee and co-working. And that's going to be in Woodstock, Illinois, historic Woodstock, Illinois. If you've ever seen the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
I love that movie.
That's where the Friday the 13th event is going to be. And that is where the co-working event is going to be.
Little town. I wish it was in Illinois. I would love to go to something like that.
Oh, it's great. It's great. We just celebrated Groundhog Day in Woodstock, because Groundhog Day was on the 2nd. So Woodstock puts on this whole weekend event. Like they have
Phil. It's going to my head yesterday.
So we have Woodstock Willie. He's the Woodstock mascot, which I find it funny because it's like, people look down at what I do, being a psychic witch and an oracle, but it's okay. We can rely on this rodent to divine the weather for us for the next 6 months. That's cool. But it's a great town, and that's where we're going to be for that. Because honestly, my business wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for the community that I've built along the way. And I think that's really important too. Making sure
more important than ever too, because now as we get more and more into AI, as the internet becomes more and more dead and there's more bots and most of the traffic is bots, we're going to be gravitating more toward in-person events, I think. And so, yeah, that's a fantastic way to bring community get together. And I thank you so much for telling us all about your business. And I cannot wait to share all these protection spell tips that you gave. And I'll be including links to all of Madame Creatrix products that you can use that she mentioned, and any other links that we mentioned in this podcast. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. I just really enjoyed it. It's just through and through. I feel like I'm kind of buzzing at the moment. It's such a good conversation. And you've got such a good energy. So thank you.
Well, thank you for having me and for allowing me this opportunity and holding space for this. This is amazing and important. And if you ever want me back on, we've got so much we can talk about.
Oh my gosh, so much more. Today's was mostly like protection spells, but absolutely, like it's an ongoing journey to continue to learn about how we can learn to trust ourselves and our inspiration and grow our businesses as spiritual business coaches, mentors, and practitioners. So thank you. You're a real marketician. I like to say someone who's very good with marketing.
Okay.
Awesome. Pleasure. Thank you so much, Madame Creatrix.
I know it's a mouthful, but I love it.
No, I love it. Madame Creatrix is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for being a guest today. Okay.
Take
care. All right. Bye.